Well, welcome everybody to another episode of Magic, Mystery, and Medicine. I am your host, Megan Edge, and I'm here today with someone very special. This is my good friend and graduate of both IEM and the Confident Healer, Jennifer Weir. Jennifer is now a intuitive energy massage certified practitioner.
Yes, I am.
And a mind, body, and soul healer.
Mm-hmm.
And in your
29 years, my Muggle life.
Your Muggle life.
Yes.
Yes. You
Soon
are
to be blended, but yes, Muggle life.
In your Muggle life, you are a nurse leader for long-term care.
Yes, I'm a clinical nurse leader.
Nurse leader.
And I've been working, taking care of the elderly for about 29 years.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
October 1st coming up.
Wow. So there's an anniversary coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really curious, and I think that people watching this would really love to hear how it is that you are currently blending energy medicine practitioner, mind, body, and soul healer, intuitive energy massage into being a nurse leader in what is a mainstream medical facility, and in the mainstream medical world. What is that experience like for you?
Well, it's been interesting. It's been a journey for sure, because I have always been interested in mind, body, soul exploration and curious about that and looking into complementary or alternative practices since I can remember. I've tried every single diet you can think of. I've tried every single approach, read lots of different books. And I like to experiment with things, and so I'm kind of like an experimenter.
Yeah.
And I also I'm very passionate about the things that I'm caring about. So with working with the elderly, I didn't think I was going to still be here 29 years later, but here I am because I've learned so much about working with elders and their journey at the end of their life. And it's a natural time for elderly people. Or anybody, even if you're younger, but you know that you're at the end of your life, it's a natural time for the spirit. And so there's a lot of healing around that and regrets that come up and things like that. So I just mentor for staff that work with me, and I really try to connect with the residents to their heart. And so and the families too. So I really think that that's something that I've learned over time just by practicing some of the techniques that I've learned about using my eyes as my biggest tool. And so I might spend some time just kind of really looking at somebody, and then I think that brings me into their energies.
Yes.
And then I can kind of read on what they may need, or it's my intuition, now I know that it's my intuition coming in. And so since I've finished my class with you, or my course, I've been able to more fully dive into that.
Yeah.
And be more present with myself in that role. So I can't help but just be like that. I just am that way at work. I have a deck of cards, my oracle cards that you did, the Heart's Journey, right beside me on my little desk. And so I have a few staff members that come in and they'll grab a card and they'll get a really good message, and usually we have a little bit of a conversation, and so that's just how it goes. It's really interesting to see like how the other person responds to me. You just need to be there for them. I mean, really, you're just being present with a person and really mindful as well. I've had to do a lot of work on learning to have my own boundaries so that I don't lose my energy as well. Like I have to be careful with that too. Yeah.
And that's something that we talk about in the Confident Healer. It's part of the learning.
Yes.
Is how to recognize where your energies begin and end, and where someone else's energies begin and end.
That was very helpful.
Yeah. And there's a couple of things that you said that I want to jump onto. One is the sacredness of the work that you do.
Oh yeah.
When you talk about end of life and how people have regrets and they just need space and time, them and their families.
Yeah.
And I know you personally, I've worked with you now, and I really know, I believe that you bring that into this transition from living into non-living. And in our culture, it's not something that is present. It's not in front of us.
No.
We tend to hide it away in hospitals or in hospice. It's not in our day-to-day lives necessarily. And so I think we have forgotten how sacred it is and how beautiful it can be. I mean, certainly how painful it can be also, but to have someone there, like a death doula, who can make this transition something really
I'm definitely
special.
a death doula.
Yes, I would use that to describe
Yeah,
you,
I like
for
that
sure.
one too. And, you know, a word comes to mind that's really important with the people that I work with is grief. And you know how interested in grief I have been, because I see so many deaths and so many journeys and transitions, and it's just like, it's really important to support those people through those journeys, or else I just don't want to think of people getting stuck. Like this, they don't really have a great quality of life anymore. So it's about supporting the family with the resident that lives there. That's their home.
Yeah.
So grief comes to mind, and we have to allow people to grieve. We have a very death-phobic, society, really.
We're very fearful of it.
It's kind of global right now too. There's a lot of fear around death.
Yeah.
I don't have a fear around death because I've seen so many beautiful deaths. All the deaths that I've seen, physically seen them, it's probably, I don't know how, I've tried to count.
Yeah.
Can't remember. It's, there's probably a couple thousand.
Wow.
I think. Well, I don't even know. I can't really think about how many. Maybe 1,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've probably only seen a couple of them that are, like, for me personally, I'm not there for all of our residents when they pass, but maybe a couple of them have not gone very well. But for the most part, it's a very beautiful time for the person's ready. They are ready to go. Where I work, they're ready to go.
Right.
It's the families that are holding on.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of regrets in there. And I remember a family I worked with last year, and I just knew I was gravitated to them. He's actually my birthday twin, the resident. He's my birthday twin.
Oh, yeah.
And so I have that bond. So it was a couple years ago now, and I still get the family wishing me a happy birthday. Yeah, so that was special. Yeah. Well, I worked a lot with the family, not as much him, a little bit with him, but it was mostly the family.
It's really multifaceted, the work that you do in the mainstream.
It really is.
And the other piece that I wanted to address as well is when you talk about having tools available to your coworkers, because it's an enormous thing to take on death.
Yeah.
And it impacts us each differently, and of course we'll all have our own stories around it of growing up and what our first experiences of it were. And so when someone chooses to come into that as their field, they have to look after themselves.
Yeah, self-care is huge.
Yeah, and you're providing some of that by having these tools available. That it gives them that opportunity to step out away from whatever the politics are, whatever the family dealings are, whatever the grief is, whatever their own reaction is to what's going on around them, and gives them that opportunity to just check in.
Yeah, check in
with
share,
themselves. Yeah.
One thing that you say about that is true, but sometimes I've found that some people will come in and they'll just vent. And so I'm becoming more aware of that now. So I'm able to kind of keep myself in check a little bit, because sometimes it drains me. And then the person's like, oh, I feel a lot better. Thanks a lot. And I'm like, whew, that was like, so it's not I tried it a couple days ago with a couple people, and it was much better, because I even said, you're just venting right now, right? You don't expect me to fix this for you, right?
Oh, what a great question.
I know, it was awesome. And she's like, yes, it's total venting. I'm like, go for it. I will hear you.
Right.
And I'm like, that's a lot better. And I'm like,
yeah,
I was just transparent with them.
I love
very
that.
transparent with people.
I love that, because when people find out that you're taking programs or courses, or you're learning new things around energy, around healing, it very quickly can become a situation where you are now their healer.
Yeah.
But there's no exchange, because it's not a situation where you're saying, okay, well, I'm going to hold a session for you and you're going to pay me to have that session with me.
Yeah.
There's that boundary between coworker, friend, client.
Exactly.
And how do you manage that? Like when you think about moving forward with being a mind, body, and soul healer, integrating modern medicine with alternative healing,
I am trying things out. For instance, the story when I came in today, I had a coworker come to me, and it was about an hour. And afterwards I said, well, you've just had a session. So it was kind of a good lesson for me. It was great. It was energizing for both of us. It was a free-flowing conversation where we explored, intuition. We went into lots of different topics, and she was picking up stuff, and we were both kind of we were totally in the flow with each other.
Right.
And I know that there was a lot of healing going on there. And that's okay, because it just is. It was okay. Don't feel drained afterwards, but I'm at the same time thinking, gotta tweak that a little bit.
Right.
And of course she knows that I'm offering clients, and she is a friend as well. So it's a little bit different.
Right.
But it was interesting. I could see that I could easily kind of give myself so much that I lose myself in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as healers, we want to be of service.
Yeah.
It's something it's inside of us. And I find it very easy to fall into the helping hand. But if I'm not clear on my boundaries of what that helping hand is, then it muddies the water between, is this a client session? Are we just friends hanging out and chit-chatting? I know. What am I fixing here? What am I not fixing? Am I just in ear? So there's lots of different ways that can show up.
Yes.
And I love that you were really clear with that other person and said, are you venting?
Yeah.
I'm not fixing this. Or do you need me to fix this? Because that's something different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that was really helpful for me too, because then I could just relax. Because I want to care for everybody, and I do want to, my main goal, I think, in my life, like overall, even when I was little, is I just want to have people feel good. Yeah. And to like journey through their life and to learn. I've always done that. Like when I was little, I used to have little groups. I used to make up little clubs, and my friends would join, and we'd be in a club it didn't last very long. Right. But it was a good idea. Yeah. And we'd pay a little admission fee or a little association fee or something. So everyone would pay a little bit. Yeah. And then we would have an agenda of how we would deal with things. Just like,
it's almost like you were already stepping into the role.
I was already doing it.
And
I didn't know it, but it's so I love to encourage people. I really enjoy meeting them where they're at. I think it's really important to not fix people. Yes. Yeah. Because I'm not going to be around forever, and maybe they'll move away. Like they have to be able to give the tools, try out the tools, see what works for them. Right. I'll go wherever they want. Yeah. Mostly. I don't know.
Well, and this is another thing that we do in the Confident Healer is look at, that very thing. Like what is the boundary? What is the need? And who are we as healers? Yeah. Because we don't do the healing.
That's right.
Right? When you say, well, I want to fix them, but you can't fix them. They know you can't fix them. But for a lot of people, they're willing to let you think you can.
Yeah. Right? They are. Yeah. Actually, some of them might prefer it that way. Yes. And the ones that prefer it, I find, are the ones that are kind of hard for me. I like the conversation today. It was nice. There was a back and forth. The person was totally keen and really willing and willing to be vulnerable. It's a big one. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Learning to be vulnerable. Yeah.
So willing to be vulnerable and willing to do their own work.
Yes.
Because that self-responsibility piece, at least for me, is such an important part of how I do my work, and what I want for anyone who comes and trains with me to become a healer is for them to understand that fundamental boundary of I hold space, you do the work.
That's right.
Is so important. And one of the things that I've noticed in my own experience of mainstream medicine, having had 17 surgeries, I've been on the patient side of things for many, many times, since I was 5 years old, is that I have come across medical professionals who really embrace the idea that they will be the one to fix me.
Right. Yes. Right. And the patient looking for their doctor, looking for the nurse. I need to be fixed. Please do it for me.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
I experienced that a lot as well.
Yeah. Well, we were calling it the other day the white coat syndrome.
Yes, that's right.
And as soon as that white coat comes on, and if you've had a stethoscope, a person can say a lot of things that are very potent to a patient, and they can really land heavily if the patient is coming from a school of thought that says the doctor knows, And
right?
I don't.
So you got to be that is a sacred thing in itself.
Mm-hmm.
The client relationship with their caregiver is such a sacred thing. Like, you are entering into these people's, like, their personal space and their energies.
Yeah.
You've got to be very careful about how you speak to somebody.
Yes. That languaging is so vital.
Yeah.
And for me, I want to come always from a place of empowering somebody with the language that I'm using,
mm-hmm.
and modeling for them a way of them to create self-empowerment
right.
through the language that they're using. Right.
So you might hear them say something like, "Oh, I'm so stupid."
Yeah.
Really? And so, even the residents, I bring that in. Like,
mm-hmm.
So you asked me earlier about how I bring this into my practice
mm-hmm.
at work. I do that, very
mm-hmm.
careful with my language,
mm-hmm.
and I bring those kinds of things in. So you can definitely blend in
mm-hmm.
energy medicine techniques into your practice.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's just your approach. Like, that's just what I do. And
mm-hmm.
I will not stand above a resident and talk down to them.
mm-hmm.
I always, and I model this, and
mm-hmm.
I know that people will remember, they'll see me do it all the time.
Yeah.
I get right down onto their eye level. Yeah. Right down. It makes a big difference.
It makes a total difference.
Yeah.
To meet them, like you say, to meet them where they're at. Well, that also means in their physical environment, meeting them where they're at.
Yes.
So if they're lying down, well, then you come down to that level, or you help them, bring the bed up a little bit so that you're more eye to eye.
Yes.
Or if you're in the hallway with them and someone's coming in a wheelchair, coming down.
Yeah.
So that you're not
evens
standing
out
with them.
the playing field.
That's right.
They feel stronger.
Mm-hmm.
They are not as afraid anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I work with a lot of residents who I pick up that their behaviors show to me that they're afraid.
Yeah.
So a lot of fears. Well, because they're not in control of many things anymore.
That's right.
So I work a lot with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that. And this isn't just for people who are at end of care or elders or later on in life. Mm-hmm. It's really right from the beginning. Mm-hmm. If we can teach people, even as children, a way of being in the presence of somebody who's a medical practitioner or medical professional, whether they're a healer or they're a doctor, whatever they are, that they can stand for themselves. They can still have a voice for themselves and be respectful, and be able to benefit from mainstream medicine and alternative medicines by bringing in that voice.
Exactly.
Which is something that you and I are going to be sharing with people.
I know. Looking forward to
coming
it.
up.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be offering a program called Building Bridges between mainstream medicine and alternative medicine.
Here we go.
I'm so excited
Be ready.
for this. I'm so excited for this because what we're talking about right now is what we're going to be sharing when we offer this to people, this 3-month course.
Yeah.
And it's all about empowering.
And people are craving this, I think. I really think that they are wanting to feel this relationship now with their caregiver. Mm-hmm. They don't want to be necessarily, a lot of them are getting more strength with themselves, and they're realizing, I think I need something different than this. I don't really know what it is yet, but I don't really want to go to the doctor. And what if I have other ideas? And what if they don't like herbal medicines? And what if they don't like massage? Or what if I want to go to a naturopath? And so there's still a little bit, well, that's positive. There's a little bit of resistance still out there in the mainstream medical, with the alternative or complementary theory, therapies. But I think it's changing. I do. They're a lot more open to it.
Yeah.
And because I think they have happier patients.
That's right.
Yeah.
And healthier patients.
Healthier patients.
Yeah.
If I was a doctor, I used to want to be one, but if I was a doctor, I would hope that my patients would be taking charge of their own health.
Yeah.
And taking control for their own well-being.
That's right. And
I know that bringing spirit into medicine is like so important. I don't think you can keep going the way we are right now without bringing spirit into medicine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, once you know that, you can't go back. I can't just say, spirit's not that important. No, mind, body, spirit all go together, and I bring it up. But the other thing I do too, when people are talking about how they're feeling, what kind of body symptoms they have. I will ask a bit more questions. And like, for instance, a friend came to me, she goes, that cream you're making for, I wouldn't mind having some of that. And I said, oh, what's going on for you? Oh, my shoulder. And, what? I said, okay, but what side is that? And I kind of asked them questions.
Right.
And, I might say something like they have an idea of where it might come from. Oh, I was swimming the other day. They go to the physical, right? They always go to the physical.
That's what we're taught.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I'll say, well, yeah, that's true. That can happen. And sometimes shoulder pain is related to, bearing a lot of responsibilities and having a dark time. Like, it's there's an emotional component in there. And so that kind of comes up in conversation too. Right. So I think I take it for granted. I don't really realize how much I engage with staff and families and residents.
Yeah. Well, because for you now, I think for always it's been second nature for you. Yeah. Now you're doing it with more intention.
Yeah. Because I didn't know I was doing that.
That's right.
Before.
Yeah. Yeah. But now having done the trainings that you've done and the certifications that you've done, that's given you a structure. Yes. And a appreciation for what you've already been doing, and then how you can be doing it with more impact. Right. And really helping to empower people. Yes.
And it really does.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. Effect. Yeah. And your eyes are your biggest tool. Eyes. There's a lot you can share a lot with your eyes, with your intention. So I do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm very, very excited for what we're going to be creating, you and I.
This is a new thing.
It's a new thing. It's a new program. Yeah. It's a standalone program. And it's also, to be totally transparent with people listening, it's also a step into the confident healer. That's right. Because everything that we are going to be sharing in Building Bridges comes out of all the teachings and learnings that I've created and put together in the Confident Healer, the program that you took.
That's right.
And got your certification from. And you are going to be our TA this year.
I know.
Coming into 2021.
Yes.
Yes. So that is very, very exciting.
So we're hoping for lots of beautiful souls coming to us.
Yes. That's right.
Lots of learning, lots of sharing and community and learning from each other and about yourself. That's the main thing, right? Learning about yourself. Absolutely. So that you can help others.
That's right. And to go into the program, you don't have to come out the program and become an alternative healer. No. You can do what Jennifer has been doing and is doing, which is bringing it into a current career in medicine in some way or another. And eventually maybe a person chooses to transition into becoming a full-time healer. But nonetheless, to be able to bring the two together it's just so amazing to be able to do that. Yeah.
It's very exciting.
I love it.
Don't know what it's going to look like yet, but it's starting to kind of gel together a little bit more.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Well, share with us how people can reach you if they want to come and have a session with you, because you are offering client sessions now, right?
Yes, I definitely
As a mind, body, soul healer and intuitive energy massage practitioner.
Yeah. So I do have a Facebook page. It's Avalon Star Healing Arts. And that's my Instagram as well. So both of those are up and running.
Excellent.
I do have an email as well. So it's avalonstar.healingarts@gmail.com.
Beautiful.
And my phone number is good too. 250. No, maybe I won't give my phone number. I'll cut that out. I'm thinking I don't want everyone. I'm like, I don't think so. Change my mind.
Well, you're a busy lady. People can email you.
That's right.
They can reach out on Facebook. They can reach out on Instagram. There's lots of ways for them to get a hold of you.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So Avalon Star Healing.
Avalon Star Healing Arts.
Healing Arts.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Because I do more than just the IEM and the intuitive counseling. So intuitive energy massage and intuitive coaching / counseling. And I do make my own salves and creams, and they're custom for people at this point. So I don't have anything that I'm making in bulk. But for instance, someone may, like that person with shoulder pain, I might ask them some questions and go kind of deep into the emotions for, even if they're reporting on behalf of their husband, like, oh, my husband, can you make him a cream? And so I'll get it from them about some of the emotional. I'm trying to bring in the emotional part.
Yeah. Yeah. And by creating tools that people can work with.
Yeah.
That work with those beautiful essential oils and the things you forage from nature.
Yeah, yeah,
all
for sure.
That plant medicine.
It's really fun. All that plant medicine. And so I've been working with all that kind of thing,
I think it's a beautiful balance. And I'm really excited for what's coming up
Great.
and how we're going to be working together.
I am too. Thank you.
And just to let everybody know, registration is open for the Confident Healer 2021. So if you're interested, you need to know more, want to know more, you can visit my website at meganedge.ca. You can also find me on Instagram at Megan Edge Healing. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all under Megan Edge Healing. Tons of resources that we are super excited to share with you. And we hope to see you on the journey in the new program, Building Bridges Between Modern Medicine and Alternative Healing.
Definitely.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining us on Magic, Mystery and Medicine. Thank you, Jennifer, for being here.
Thanks for having me. That was great.
Yeah.
It was good fun.
Yeah. I'm excited. Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks everybody. Bye.
Bye.
And cut.
Sneeze.
Sneeze.